is this the quickest path to being a high value man, or is this just bad advice? So we got to talk about this tweet from a man named Rollo Tomassi. He is self-proclaimed godfather of the red pill community. I don't even know if you know much about red pill, but we talk a little bit vaguely about the manosphere, the men's health community that's all on YouTube and on Twitter, all of that stuff. And this guy considers himself to be the godfather, self-proclaimed, because I don't know who actually is calling him. I'm sure somebody is. And he put up this crazy tweet that some of you watching probably have already seen, and we're going to talk about it. But before we do us a quick favor. Yes. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Really helps out a lot. And we're going to get right into this. His tweet says, the quickest path to becoming a high value man, don't get married, okay? Avoid family creation. Vasectomy in your 20s. Wow. That gotta be easily the craziest one. Vasectomy in your 20s. Oh my goodness. Should we even continue this?
Keep going.
Okay. All right. Live consistently. Okay. Eliminate all sedations. Learn game and networking. Play to your strengths. Build wealth. Resist easing up on your focus. I tell you, that's a strange, like those first, I think 4 through 8 are relatively decent. Like generally good advice, but 1 through 3 are so bad. Number 1, saying don't get married. If you want to be a high value man, avoid marriage is like wow to me. I don't get how you can give any man that advice, just to, don't get married if you want to be high value. And when marriage, in a lot of ways, and there are many studies done with this too, where it's like it actually has helped a lot of men to be successful. And there are a lot of people who will testify to having a family giving them an extra added motivation. We've talked about it even on this channel before. Like a lot of stuff that men do are for women, like to get women to have relationships and things like that. A lot of their pursuits of success, and it is to have a family. But the first 2 just saying, the first 3 saying, don't get married, avoid family creation, vasectomy, bro.
In your 20s.
Bro, in your 20s. So basically eliminate, because vasectomies, I think there is a very low percentage of like you being able to reverse it. It's not always the case, or given it can be reversed when you do that. So sterilize yourself essentially in your 20s, so that, and basically alluding to the fact, the first 3, the whole point of it is saying like that way you can have completely guiltless sex, meaning that you don't have to, in any case, deal with any children that come out of it. You don't have to worry about, you don't even have to worry about abortion. It's like, forget abortion altogether now. You can just, you're sterilized. You don't even have that risk at all. So you can just have as much sex as you want without
entertainment.
Anything. Yeah, it's all just a game.
As long as you still focus on the goal.
Exactly. It's crazy. Oh, I'm gonna open up to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with everything you said. Like, he's tweaking. And my thing is this: high value man, yes, but what about happiness? Feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I think those 2 things are clearly missing here, because okay, you got all this success, whatever, you not only don't have any kids, you can't have any kids, you all looking around, you by yourself, whatever, you can have a woman here and there, things like that, even a girlfriend, but no attachments or whatever. And I'm just like, no, I think it's a send off, clearly. The rest of them are cool. For number 4, where it says live consistently, I am with him. But do I feel that you have to do that to be considered a high value man consistently? No, I don't. It does help, but again, you're not having no family, you're not having no children, things. So
no, exactly.
I guess it's gonna make you look good in your suit when you doing these proposals. But yeah.
No, that is wild.
Yeah.
I was just thinking I had to look it up real quick. But Will Chamberlain had this quote where he said, like, with all of you men out there thinking that having 1,000 different ladies is cool, I have learned in my life, I found out that having one woman 1,000 different times is much more satisfying. And I just thought,
that's it.
I just think the whole idea of being a high value man is directly in relation to getting whatever woman you want, or however many women, whatever volume of women that you want. And that's my big issue with it, because it's not predicated on happiness. It's not predicated on not even legacy, because let's pull this back up. Like if you do steps 1 through 3,
yeah,
basically you're going to be a high value man that everybody forgets about, or that completely has no legacy or anything after their life is over to pass down or anything. It's just
Yeah, it's gonna be like
your assets are
things
useless and
or
worthless.
it's gonna be like, oh yeah, he created this or whatever. He started this business. But yeah, legacy after that, no.
Yeah, and it's like it just completely tarnishes all the rest of it. Now, I'm not a big Ben Shapiro fan. There are times where, and they're rare, but there are times where I agree with Ben. The quickest path to becoming a high value man, now using that same phrase, they have a different meaning, but whatever.
Let's see.
Number one, stay healthy,
Okay.
get a job, get married, go to church or synagogue. He's Jewish, so it makes sense why he would put that. Have kids and develop a skill set and then deploy it in the most market-driven way. I don't know. To me, that's way more solid advice to give. And I also think that this actually adds value to men. One, health. They both agree on health, I guess. He said, no, the other guy said lift constantly or consistently, whatever. He said stay healthy, okay? Get a job. Yeah, get a job. I think it's very important. Men should work. The Bible says a man that does not work will not eat. So it's important that you gotta, and then it talks about a man that doesn't provide for his own is worse than a non-believer or infidel, some translations say. You're worse than a non-believer in the eyes of God if you don't provide for your own people. And that's talking about your household, it's talking about your immediate family. So it's very important that we be a provider. And then it says get married. I like that. He went straight, he said, get married. The complete opposite of what Rollo was saying. I think it's very important for us to see the power of marriage. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't flawed aspects of the institution, like there aren't things that are weighed more against men if you're not careful. Like they talk about if you don't have a prenup as a man, high value man at that and stuff, that you are at risk to be for someone to prey on you and things like that. And so if you have independent wealth, I do think that it makes sense that you should get a prenup. All that is an agreement between the two of you, a financial agreement that you both come to and agree on. So that way, if it were to fall apart, then your assets are protected. Fine. Okay, I'm not going to be legalistic. Some people hate hearing prenup. They hear prenup, they're like, oh, are you already saying it's going to fail? No, you're basically setting the terms of your relationship, including if that happens. So you're just making it to where someone, doesn't. Like, I wouldn't want a prenup because I feel like, whatever I have to my name, I've worked for it, but I also have my wife here who has helped to build on that. So I wouldn't want a prenup because it's like, well, no, I wouldn't mind her getting half of whatever the agreement is. So, and then some people argue, I think the lead attorney says like, hey, everyone should have a prenup in general, because all you're saying is this is our agreement. This is how we're going to approach it. If I'm going to give you money, if we separate and I'm going to give you money, we made the arrangement already and it's already set, and I don't have someone else dictating it or choosing it for my family. Fair enough. Okay. I think prenup gets a bad rep. There are I can see usefulness of it, whether you're Christian, non-Christian, whoever. I understand that. But I just think when we start saying like this whole anti-marriage movement is not healthy to young people, because we see men, once they get, I want to say when they're in their like 40s or 50s, their suicide rate, if they're not married, is much higher. Like if they're single, for single men, the suicide rate is super high.
When they're secluded and got all that money, but you just by yourself, yeah, it's much higher.
Yeah, so it's terrible. And I just think if we're trying to encourage people to be high value, or we're trying to encourage people to do better for themselves or to want more, I think we got to be careful, because and I'll pull it up again, but this is just so crazy to me. If you're telling people to get a vasectomy, you're basically telling this, like, that is such bad advice, to the point where it's like, well, you have too big of an audience. We look at Rollo's audience here, and it's like over 100,000 people follow him on here, and he has, some thousands on YouTube, tens of thousands of people that watch his content and things like that. So for me, it's just crazy that any man could just say that. That's just as bad as some of the people out there who will remain nameless, who are telling people to get their genitalia changed based on feeling like they were born in the wrong body. It's just as bad. It's equally as bad when you're encouraging young people to do these things.
And take into consideration that they say studies have shown your brain is not even fully developed till about 25 years old. He's saying decide that for the rest of your life that you will not be able to have children. No, I think that's way too far.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that most people that are watching content on how to be a high value man, if we're being honest, based on what it's defined as, most aren't going to attain that anyway. It doesn't mean that we just don't provide aspirational type of stuff, but this isn't. This is very much like society is against you, so you got to be a high value man to survive. And I'm like, no, that's just nonsense to me. But those are our thoughts on this. We'd love to know what you guys think. Do us a favor, leave a comment below, let us know your thoughts. And before you head out, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.